Welcome back, everyone. Been quite a while. I missed a bunch of events. Been wanting to post for a little while. I missed my channel's birthday. It's a couple weeks ago. 18. 18 years on YouTube. My channel is old enough to legally buy cigarettes. Thought I had a little more to say about that, but I'm drawing a blank right now. So anyways, with that wildly exciting celebration out of the way, the kit I'm assembling today is a ultrasonic levitation kit. This was like $15 on Amazon. I got it over a year ago when I first decided that I wanted to start doing live streams where I assemble kits on a regular basis. So I put it in one of my little separatory clear containers and threw it up there because I thought I was gonna, just build it like right away. But life comes at you fast. So here we are a year later, celebrating the 18th birthday of my channel, and finally get to assemble this kit. So this has, I don't remember, this has 3 surface mount components. There is, I got the nice camera now so I can finally show you stuff. This is the voltage regulator for the thing. Then, I'm trying to remember which one is which. Oh, this one. This is the controller. Man, this is hard. There you go. This is the controller. It's just like a programmable IC. So that's what's sending out the frequency that these are driven at. And then this is a little MOSFET driver that they're using to drive the 2 ultrasonic transmitters. So they just get those, both. They're both tied to the same circuit in parallel. So they'll both be sending out the exact same frequency directly towards each other. And the idea is that these incredibly light styrofoam, I'm assuming they're styrofoam actually. I haven't even touched them with my hands before. Yeah, it feels like styrofoam. So these incredibly light balls should be able to levitate with the 2 ultrasonic fields going directly at each other. So that's the theory. Let's try assembling this thing and put that theory to the test. So, I'm gonna start with the SMD stuff, the surface mount stuff. So, over here, oh yeah, I forgot about that. One thing I did notice with this that I thought was weird, these little programming pins for this IC. And I looked up the data sheet on this programmable IC, and they said that it can be programmed in circuit, but obviously they didn't program it in circuit because I'm building the circuit right now. So I just find it weird that they've added these pins so that you can program it. I don't know why. I'm kind of hoping that they programmed it already, because this is all I got. There's no like instructions or code to upload onto this thing. So you can see I'm struggling pretty heavy here. It's been a while since I've done some SMD soldering. So let's get some flux down. I think, I'll do both. I was gonna say I think I'll do one side at a time, but that's just silly. And I don't have the good, my good ceramic tip tweezers. Naturally, just like everything else, I forgot it at work. So hopefully these don't take too much heat away. And I'm now realizing I forgot my pogo pin standoff things for the to support this board while I'm soldering. So that's a bummer. Let's see. I forgot I'm almost out of frame here. So we'll go ahead and wet our whistle. I got my flat, get some of that smoke out of here. I got my flat SMD tip on there. Usually the way these, this is not focusing, huh? Usually the way these things go is you get the flux on there, you put the chip in place, and then you just kind of drag this tip across the legs. And I should have shown you this before I got everything set up. But if you'll see, like look at this one, for example, you can see that there's the black stuff between all the pads. So that's called the solder mask. And basically when I'm dragging this across all the pins, the solder is only going to stick to the metal pads and not to the solder mask. So that's how I can just drag it across the pins and not just solder all the pins in one big lump. But it does take some skill. If I can get a good angle on this. This is probably the least, something I'm the least practiced in. Yeah, see, I used way too much solder, so this is going to be a disaster. So I'm going to hit the sponge real quick, clean some of that solder off, come back in, do a little more dragging, clean some of the solder off my tip, come in, drag some more, clean some solder off again. Hopefully I saved it. No, not quite. Let me clean it one more time and hit it again. Ah, right. Oh, why did I do that? Yeah, we're getting a little better now. A little closer. Keep trying to move it while it's hot. Yeah. Okay, so I still got some bridging going on, so I'm going to take my other soldering iron and try and get in there with a small tip. Oh, probably help if I did this on camera, wouldn't it? Just trying to pull those apart. Yeah. Not working very well. I see I've set myself up for failure here. Give me 1 second. I gotta go up and grab my little thing for holding the circuit board still while I solder. Probably would have been a good idea to get that in the first place, but I didn't. Alright, so get this all set up. Yes. Right, then get this down here so I can actually see what I'm doing. We in frame still? Fantastic. Okay, now, I'm on the other side. Boy. Oh, there we go. Okay, so got this going. Now, get that to sit still. Make sure everything, oh. I just realized how out of focus that is. Boy. Oh no. Boy, this is shaping up poorly. Alright. Oh, and I'm backwards. Man. This is not going the way I had intended. Boy, that is so hard to see. Oh, okay. Yeah. Right, so I think what I'm gonna do here, I'm not sure how I'm gonna save this. To be perfectly honest, we're off to a rough start. Got just a little bit on my tip, so I can get some good heat transfer going on, and then spin this around for the 30th time. And get a good grip. Oh, see, it's still moving anyways. Oh no. Alright, there we go. Now, come in. Get this nice and warmed up. There we go. Okay, get it off the pads. Now I can bring it up so I can actually see what's going on here. And try and get a better grip on it. And remember to keep things in frame. So I seem to have a hard time with doing. I forgot I zoomed in too. There we go, now you can see. Alright. Boy, these tweezers are not very good. Oh boy. So what I'm just trying to do, see, I had that whole little speech about the solder mask and dragging. Well, one thing is if you put too much solder on your tip, well then the solder mask doesn't really matter. And you'll just get all of that extra solder built up above the mask on the pins, which is what I just did. So, my rescue efforts to get all that built up solder off of the top of the pins. And now we're gonna try this all over again with less solder. Okay. Now, all right. Oh boy. Okay. Go ahead and push down this time because squeezing wasn't holding it very well the last time. There we go. Okay. Oh, now it's still sliding around like crazy, but I think that's good enough. Huh. Yeah. Try and clean some of that off. Well, this is just not working at all, but that's alright. As long as my only real worry is that I'm gonna destroy this chip from heat cycle on it at a couple hundred Celsius dungarees. There we go. You can see at least that side's good now. I don't know about the inside after all of that heat, but we'll keep going. So, just apply, oh yeah, forgot I zoomed in. So we'll just apply a teensy tiny little bit of solder. Shakily come in and apply it to the pads. Yeah, that went so much better. I just needed to get that first one out of the way, I guess. Okay, so hopefully I didn't just cook that chip, and we will continue like I didn't. So, the next 8-pin little tiny guy here. Need some better lighting. Well, anyways, this is that MOSFET driver that I was mentioning. So if you missed it during the beginning, there was I was mentioning the theory of operation on this thing. So what's the order? So it starts, well, obviously the voltage regulator. It starts with the voltage regulator, which is U1 here, and then that supplies power to this chip, which is a programmable IC like an Arduino, like the ATmega, I should say, in the Arduino. Although it's a completely different structure, it's just similar in the fact that it's a chip that you program. Yeah, so then they program that to drive this MOSFET driver at a certain frequency, and then the MOSFET driver drives the ultrasonic speakers at whatever that frequency is. And those ultrasonic speakers are in parallel, so if everything goes right, it'll levitate some foam balls, which is just fantastic. Who doesn't want to see levitating balls? Oh. Okay. Oh yeah, something kind of important I forgot to mention. These obviously these chips have an orientation. Boy, having a hard time today, huh? So you see that little dot in the bottom left of the chip I just soldered? Well, below it on the solder mask, wow, this is not focusing. That writing, you see there's on the left, there's a little chip taken out of the rectangle. That is to notate where the dot goes. So that's how you know that it's being installed in the right orientation. There we go. So in this case, it is super tiny, but So I don't know if you can see it on camera. You're just gonna have to trust me. The dot is on the correct side, and I'm having an incredibly hard time lining these little legs up. Oh, because one of them is bent. I see. Oh, boy, you're gonna have to forgive me for keep taking things out of frame here. And there we go. Bent back up. Let me double check and make sure I put the dot on the right side again here. Yes. Sorry, I'm doing this out of frame. My eyes have a hard time seeing such tiny things. Okay. So, let's apply the paste. And then, I don't know why I just held that in place with my finger, because it's just gonna move when I take my finger away. Silly, silly. Boy, this is very fiddly. Oh, and apparently it sticks to the tweezers too. What a nightmare. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get this thing soldered up. And hopefully I can get this close and then just quickly tack it down so I can stop fiddling with it. Oh boy. Just doesn't want to go. There we go. Okay. All right. Let's examine. Boy, how come this doesn't want to focus anymore? Huh. I don't know. Oh well. It looks good. It looks alright, let's say that. Go ahead and move this thing in. Try the other side. Sorry, I'm not being very talkative. This is taking a lot of my focus trying to get this thing soldered up. And once I get these two harder chips soldered, then I can split some of my focus off on the talking. Oh, don't forget to clean the tip. Okay. Hopefully that's in frame, yes. Just a little teensy bit. Probably that's enough. Yeah, that's enough. Alright. Now I don't need the tweezers because I tacked the other side. Just try doing two legs at once. I feel like that's working a little bit better for me. Keep putting my hand up in the way without realizing it. Okay. Clean the tip off, pull this thing out. What are we thinking? It's not great, but it'll work. Let me look at it with my eyeballs. Yeah, whew, man, that first the first half of that chip I soldered, boy, that is atrocious, this one right here. Oh well, it'll work. So anyways, now that we got the hard stuff out of the way, let's cruise on through. Yeah, so I've been wanting to post for a while. As I said during the intro, I think it's been like a month since my last video, and my channel's birthday was recently. 2006 I started this channel, and you know, I had no real direction. It was actually, I was over, wait, how do I, sorry, I thought I had the chat open on my phone, but I don't see it now. There it is. How we doing, Kaylin? Yeah, so speaking of Kaylin, I was over my friend's house back in 2006, and Kaylin was the friend, and we were watching the news, and they did this story on on YouTube, there was a news story about the website YouTube, and their tagline was "Broadcast yourself" back then. And the news story, the summarization of this news story was basically that YouTube is like having your own TV channel, and who doesn't want to have their own TV channel? And I was like, man, that sounds awesome. So naturally, I went home and started a YouTube account, but I didn't really, I didn't really know what to post. So Kaylin and I made, as you can see, if you go back in time on my channel, you can see some of my first videos are riding pedal cars down a hill really fast and crashing into things, and miscellaneous running around, breaking things. And then at some point, not very long actually after that, maybe that was 2006, and then by I want to say around 2009, 2008, I had started posting electronic stuff on my channel, but it was far and few between. I think I just got that way too hot. Whoops. Yeah, you can see when my attention's divided into talking, I don't do quite as good. But anyways, I think by 2008, 2009, I had finally started posting some of the electronic projects I had built. And I'm pretty sure there's only 1 or 2 of those videos remaining because I was I was so embarrassed by them that I ended up deleting a lot of the ones I made, which is a shame. Well, what was it, 2009 to 2010, around there, I moved to Indiana for a little while, and I built this wild contraption for an alarm system, and there was no microcontrollers. Everything was mechanical, so when you set the alarm, I had this arm with a gear motor, and when you set the alarm, you physically turned on the motor to flip this thing over, and it had contacts on each end, and it was armed over here and disarmed over there. So you'd hold the button until the motor flipped over, and then the alarm was armed. And yeah, so I made a video about that and posted it, and everyone was like, what is this nonsense? I would have just programmed this, or I would have just that, I would have just. So things haven't changed much, but I just remember being wildly embarrassed by that, and I ended up deleting the video. So maybe it would be interesting. I wish I could go back and just, like if I had just privated everything, I could just go back and make it public again, but nope, I decided I would erase it, which was a shame, but away she goes. So, honestly, I don't know why I just put the barrel jack on before I finished bolting this other stuff up, but that's alright, we'll make do. So one interesting thing going on with this kit, let me zoom back out here. just hanging around. I wish, that's about all I've been doing too, boy. It's like trying to keep up with stuff around the house and working. It's about all I can do these days. No time for nothing. Yeah, so one of the interesting things about this kit is these, where you're supposed to mark these ultrasonic sensors, where you're supposed to mount these, it's marked for a positive leg on both of the places you're supposed to mount these. But these are driven with an ultrasonic signal, which is a certain frequency. I don't know, 35. I don't know what the ultrasonic range is off the top of my head, to be honest, but it's an AC signal is my point. So there really shouldn't be an orientation. It should just, either way, since it's a asymmetrical frequency, it shouldn't matter what way you've installed these. But I'm thinking that maybe there's some internal differences, so that's why these have an insulator here and not there. So I'm just going to go with the idea that where the insulator is positive, and I'm going to mount them like that. Now if you guys watching this in the future know anything about what leg on these things is positive and negative, I'd love to hear it, because I've worked with these a decent amount, and I've never heard of them being mounted with polarity. Anyways, so I'm just kind of going off my memory of the pictures when I bought this kit like a year ago on Amazon. I'm trying to remember what the pictures looked like. I think these are actually screwed together. And then this went up like that. Make sure I'm still in frame, yeah. These were going up the sides like that, and then this circuit board was mounted on top of those poles with the speaker facing down. Oh, I did it upside down, like this. Then those poles go up. And then these little guys are the legs in those 4 holes. So that's the ultimate goal I'm driving towards. It seems like all the circuitry is mounted upside down, and then the stuff is above it. So let's see, we got the 1 resistor in the whole kit. I'm going to assume that goes in the 4K7 hole here. So we'll go ahead and drop that bad boy in. Spread those out. I guess I'll just keep using. I do have a couple soldering irons set up. I don't mess with my framing too much. I got my regular tip and my SMD tip, but I think I'm just gonna keep using the SMD tip to finish this thing off. The other one is, oh, I almost forgot to add the flux. Can you believe that? I didn't get some of that on there. Not enough solder. I'm too scared now after I ruined that first joint. I'm too scared to put solder on. There we go. Oh, and I forgot my cutters. What a shame. I'm gonna have to use my Harbor Freight specials here. Whew. Oh man, this is a absolute travesty. Okay. Yeah, so I only recently, I totally got sidetracked from my story there. Only recently did I actually start going, only recently did I start posting on a regular basis. That's what I'm driving at. And so only recently did I actually start getting subscribers and you know, and all of that. So that's why my channel's been around since, 2006, and yet I've barely got a 1K subscribers. It's because I only started posting regularly like a couple of years ago. Or actually, I really haven't started posting regularly to this day, but with any sort of consistency, I've only started that within the last couple of years. Before that, it was like 1 video a year, and who knows if it was even associated with electronics at all. I might have been riding dirt bikes or some kind of crazy thing. Get this mounted. This is an interesting soldering through-hole components with an SMD tip is quite the experience. Hopefully I don't cook any of this stuff. I'm having to keep going back in and heating it up again and again. So hopefully I don't take it too far. Boy, I'm gonna have to be a little more prepared. The last stream I did building the fish collar kit, I did test streams and got everything set up and had lights and made sure my microphones was working and everything. And this time I was like, yeah, it'll be fine. And I forgot half my tools. It's a disaster. Ooh. So, yeah, I was just reading chat there with Kaylin. Yeah, I feel that. For a while when I was doing my own repair business, for people in the future, he said he's a locomotive engineer working full-time, and he's regretting his decision going full-time, if I'm reading that right, which is similar to what I was going through. I was working at FedEx part-time. I was an operations manager working there 4 days a week, which was like fantastic. And then I was trying to do my repair business on the side, and it was like being committed to FedEx left me with not enough time to build my business, so I was like frantically trying to fit in as many jobs as I can on my days off from FedEx. So it was like, I was basically just working 7 days a week, and I was like, oh, well, I should just go be full-time somewhere else. And so I left FedEx to go full-time at a automotive shop, but now, I'm full-time, so now I really don't have any free time. Like, I was complaining about my free time before, but now it's like, I ain't got no time for nothing now. But such is life. We work things in where we can. So I'm going and putting in the capacitor now, which interesting. Oh, wow, I just made a pretty big mistake here. Talking and soldering, I just put the wrong capacitor in that spot. It's supposed to be an electrolytic. If I was paying attention, you would have seen that there's polarity in the spot that I just put this capacitor. So we'll go ahead and get the tweezers on this thing, see if I can make a second rescue attempt here, if I'm going to have to. No, well, maybe. I don't know, I might end up cooking this thing trying to save it. I should just use my... Yeah, how about we put this back on the stand, flip it around, get the solder sucker out. What a disaster. Okay, there's one. And there's the other one. No, don't want to touch that yet. I'm sure it's still pretty hot. Still a little bit of solder in there, but how hot is this? Hot enough I shouldn't be touching it. Alright, so we'll get a little prying action going. And we'll start heating up these legs again. There's one. The other one, no. Trying to do this in frame, sorry guys. Trying to do this quickly, but also keep it in frame. Don't have much practice. There we go. Usually when I'm soldering circuits, I don't have to keep it within the camera's framing. So I'm just slowly prying on it with the tweezers while I heat up each leg alternately. And of course this is after I use the solder sucker to get the majority of the solder out of the joint, and then it's, when there's less solder, it heats up faster, less thermal mass, so makes things a little easier. And anyways, long story short, there we go. Crisis averted. Well, actually, we don't know that yet. It's like the third component that I just basically roasted on this board, so we'll see how things go when I try and power this on. So now I'm holding this up to the light and seeing if there's room in there for me to get the legs of the proper component through. This is an electrolytic capacitor, that's why this one goes on the spot where there's polarity. And then the other capacitor, which I can't remember what this package is called, but it doesn't have polarity, so that one obviously goes over on the spot where it says 104. So, as for the electrolytic, there's the negative side, so we're going to put that on the side with all of the striped lines. And let's see, is there enough? No. Okay, so, a couple options here. We can heat from one side and suck from the other. Yeah, this doesn't seem to want to... Sometimes when you heat it up... Yeah, that didn't work. Sometimes when you heat it up, though, it'll just cling to the walls, and then, and thusly opening the hole. I am not very eloquent today. I think you get what I'm saying. So, oh boy, if I didn't have 20 things in my way. How can I heat this from the bottom when it's... I don't think I can, so we're going to go ahead and put it in the jars here. And then come in real nice and gentle like. And we're going to heat it from the bottom, suck it from the top. Boom. That didn't work. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Get aligned. Ooh. Make sure we're aligned. Yeah, the heat isn't transferring for some reason. Oh, that's weird. Alright, so I'm just going to reverse things then. For whatever reason, it's not working from the bottom, so now I'll come in from the top. I think first I'm going to try and line up on that hole. Get a better grip on this thing. There we go. Now we got to do that again. On this one, I should have lined up first, but oh well. Bam. Alright. Well, that took, I don't know how long that took, but it was too long, because I started the stream at like 3 o'clock and it's almost 4 now. So, oh yeah, right, there's a timer. 35 minutes we've been going. Alright, so as I was stating, I'll put the negative side of this capacitor on the side with all the lines. Drop that bad boy down. Now, I'm going to do this all over again, add a little flux, get some solder on my tip, and we'll just go to town on this bad boy. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting this tip definitely behaves a lot different. Kind of interesting. Okay. Now that that's mounted, get this out of there. Boy, I really don't like those cutters. This is slowly turning into a, I don't even know what to call it. I was going to say a disaster, but I think I've already used that. I think I've already used that term. This is a downright tragedy. So, apply some flux and get to stabbing. Ah, wow. You guys see that? Was that in frame? I just touched my soldering iron with my bare hands. We are on genius level status today. There we go. So we soldered that one in for the second time now. Hopefully we haven't roasted the internals to the point of failure. Yes, that looks horrendous, but we're making progress. So now I see, well, I think I've just come across a disaster. Oh no, it's a disaster. Oh no. I am now seeing that there is a second spot on this board for a capacitor, like this tan one. And I didn't have it. I don't have it in the kit. I don't have it on my desk. I don't have it on the floor. And if I'm remembering correctly, when I knocked this container out onto my desk, there was only one in there. So that's a shame, because that would make this the first kit assembly where I've not had a working kit by the end of the video. Because I don't think I have. I definitely don't have that style of capacitor, but I don't even think I have something even close to that value. So that's a disappointment. Well, I think, man. That is a real shame. Should have counted my chickens before I hatched them, because I don't have any other options. I don't think. That's the only inventory I got. I think I might have something close in an electrolytic capacitor, but it's not going to have the same performance. It's just not going to work. And then in here we already went through these. That's the only other capacitors I have in stock. So that's about it, guys. I think I'm gonna have to call this one off, which is, well, honestly, it's fitting because this has been a disaster right from the start. But I just can't believe, well, you better believe it, boy. This is real life. All right, well, that's it's been real. I'm gonna have to cut this one short early and order a set, and we'll resume when I have all the pieces. So sorry about the letdown. Maybe I'll edit it into one continuous video and just post it. And I guess that's really the thing to do. So yep, we'll see you later.